Alright, hello citizens of the Nigelverse. It is Nigel here once again, and this video is going to be a bit different from my regular videos. This one is going to be more of a discussion video. I'm experimenting with a new video type here. Of course, we in the Nigelverse are all about experimentation in the name of science, of course. But this is going to be a discussion video. So today we're going to be discussing the two-night Wrestlemania format. Right off the bat, let me know in the comments, do you guys want to see more discussion videos like this? But without further ado, let's get right into it. So, two-night Wrestlemania. It started out in 2020 as a response to the COVID pandemic, as only a certain amount of people were allowed to be in a place at a certain time. So WWE decided to try to get around that by implementing the two-night formula. A certain amount of people would be competing one night, and then a certain amount of people would be competing the next night. And then, even with a lot of the COVID protocols lifted and everything, or some of the restrictions lifted, WWE decided to stick with the two-night WrestleMania format, and it's kind of been commonplace. But is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? That's what we're going to be discussing today. So what I've done is I have a list of both pros and cons to the two-night format, and we're going to be discussing it here. I come up with 5 pros and 5 cons. So we're going to compare and contrast these pros and cons, and then at the end we'll evaluate. So starting off with the pros here, the first is that both nights get both build and quality. So with not having to cram all of it into one night, instead having it be in two-night, it seems like WWE is using that to kind of load up both cards and give build to both cards, and you don't have to rush a lot to build some stuff over the other stuff. Sadly, that's still the case sometimes, but that's just WWE and pay-per-views in general, but or premium live events, however you refer to them. But yeah, so both shows get a nice amount of build and some quality to them, and they're able to load both cards. This year's WrestleMania, both nights are very loaded, and we know now it's been announced that Austin Theory and John Cena are going to be kicking off night 1. But having both nights get build and quality put into them makes for two interesting experiences, and allows people to look forward to not just one but both nights of WrestleMania. And you can load your good matches across both cards. For example, back in 2020, there's 2 cinematic matches spread across both nights, with night 1 getting AJ Styles and Undertaker in the Boneyard match, which actually main evented night 1, and then night 2 getting the Firefly Funhouse match, as well as the world title matches. So spreading it out across both cards allows for quality to be ensured. Will it be ensured? It remains to be seen for both nights of WrestleMania this year, but it allows for quality in theory. The next pro that I have is that superstars have more chances to appear. WrestleMania, of course, being the biggest show in WWE, it is a very big payday, and instead of having one night and then wrestlers don't get to appear, now there's 2 nights, so two chances for a wrestler to appear on the card, and get paid that sweet WrestleMania bonus. So having it be both nights, it allows for that, and it seems like they allow superstars to appear on one of 2 nights. The next pro is that WrestleMania isn't too long. You don't have a situation like WrestleMania 35 where it's 5 hours, where people are sitting there all night. Now both shows are like pay-per-view shows that people can sit it at, and it's spread across 2 nights, so you don't have the fans sitting there all night, getting tired to wrestle anything, and they go through one night, get rested up, go home or to their hotels or wherever, get rested up, then head back for night number 2. So having that divide, having that be spread across, helps with that. The next pro is that there's 2 main events, and it's not like a case where one is like the definitive main event, and then one probably should have been the main event, like we've seen with other WrestleManias in the past. But now there's 2 main events, so there's a main event for night 1 and a main event for night 2. Such as WrestleMania 37, where night 1 was main evented by Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair, and then night 2 was main evented by Roman versus Edge versus Daniel Bryan. Or like last year, where night 1 was main evented by Kevin Owens and Stone Cold. And then night 2 was main evented by Roman versus Brock. So having the 2 main events allows for 2 big matches for people to look forward to, and generates even more interest in the card across both nights. And then final pro that I have is that it sets the standard for WrestleMania that year. Having the first night be awesome and electric is like, oh man, this was awesome, I can't wait for night 2. And then night 2 comes along. Now, sometimes you have a case where, for example, like last year, I feel like night 1 was way stronger than night 2, but at least on the whole. But still, having an awesome night 1 makes people excited for night 2, and they're definitely going to be coming back for night 2. So it sets the bar, or night 1 sets the bar, and then night 2 follows up. But now we move on into the cons. So starting with con number 1, fans have to show up for multiple shows, and that's oftentimes what happens for WrestleMania weekend. And now, obviously, people watching at home probably don't really have this much of a problem, but people who show up for like the physical shows, WrestleMania weekend is usually pretty long. There's the Hall of Fame ceremony, then the NXT event, and whether it's NXT Takeover in the past or like Stand and Deliver this year, and then night 1 of WrestleMania, then night 2 of WrestleMania, and actually Stand and Deliver and WrestleMania night 1 are happening within the same day. Night 1's gonna be happening at 1 p.m. Or actually, Stand and Deliver is gonna be happening at 1 p.m. and then night 1 is later on that night. And so people have to show up for that. Have to show up for both. And then there's the Raw after WrestleMania. So, a lot that people have to show up for. And I imagine people probably have like made the travel and hotel or just places to stay accommodations for the week, but having to make that place to stay accommodations for the week is it's a lot. The next con I have is comparison, and I kind of alluded to it, where inevitably the 2 nights are going to be compared. Some people are going to say, oh, night 1 was way better than night 2, or night 2 blew night 1 out of the water. So having that comparison between the 2 shows was nothing wrong with friendly competition, but I feel like it would make people say like, oh yeah, night 1 was way better than night 2. Yeah, night 2 kind of sucked, or night 1 kind of sucked, and night 2 was way better. So, having that kind of puts a bit of a negative light on one of the 2 WrestleMania shows, but and maybe it's just a case of like, hey, night 1 not being as good as night 2, or night 2 not being as good as night 1, vice versa. But the comparison is going to be there. The next one is inconvenience, and this is more so for people like me watching it from home. With Stand and Deliver happening at 1, by the time Stand and Deliver happens at 1, I'm gonna be like getting dressed and everything for work, because I work at 3, and hopefully by the time it wraps up, hopefully by the time Stand and Deliver wraps up, I will be at work so I can catch the ending. A bit of a funny story, I had to work the day of Clash of the Castle and the show didn't even end. I had to see the ending when I got off of work. By the time I got into work, by the time I clocked into work and everything, like they were just getting started with the main event. But a situation like that, at, I'm sure that'll happen this year, and people got to show up for WrestleMania Night 1, at least those watching at home. A lot of people have to work on Saturday. A lot of people might be out partying or whatever on that Saturday. Hey, which is why having it usually on the Sunday, is a lot more convenient because a lot more people are off and everything. But I kind of just personal struggle of mine, and a lot of people have been saying that about the fact that WWE pay-per-view / premium live events are on Saturdays now. A lot of people have been complaining about that for a little bit. Is that the shift from Sunday to Saturday is a bit jarring and a bit annoying, and that I feel like that kind of is the case here with that. But the next kind I have is that some of the shows are still rushed in some areas, and that happened last year. Between the Hall of Fame stuff that they did, which they repeated on both nights, which I thought was weird, and then the Gable Steveson segment and with him, and then Alpha Academy. Where the heck is Gable Steveson, by the way? Where did he go? I know he officially graduated from college, if I'm not mistaken, but where did he go? Who? Why did you sign him just to have him not appear on TV? He's apparently a part of the Raw brand, but pretty much nowhere to be found. Wonder if they're gonna start doing stuff with him. Maybe school related stuff. Just keeping him back. I know it kind of did for me. But not saying I was in WWE, but you kind of get what I mean. But yeah, so stuff like that means they had to rush the rest of the card. They had to move the New Day versus Brawling Brutes match to the night 2, and then that ended up being I think 2 minutes long. So yeah, even with the 2 nights, some stuff still gets rushed, and it's pretty annoying. And then the last thing is scheduling, and this kind of goes into inconvenience a little bit. The previous point I made, how they had to schedule it. Normally the schedule would be Hall of Fame Friday, NXT Takeover Saturday, a WrestleMania Sunday, but now you kind of have to push stuff back. Where Hall of Fame ceremony might be on Thursday, and then Takeover Friday, and then WrestleMania Saturday, Sunday, or in the case like this year where Takeover and WrestleMania are going to be on the same day. Well, at least night 1 of WrestleMania is going to be on the same day. Kind of having that weird scheduling / loading of the event, hence can get a bit annoying and a bit frustrating, and hopefully it's not too bad this year, but yeah, that can get kind of annoying. But that's the pros and the cons as I've listed. Do the pros outweigh the cons? Do the cons outweigh the pros? I will leave that for you guys to decide. So let me know in the comments. First of all, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, turn on post notifications so you know every time I upload a video so you can see as soon as it drops. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on this discussion. And do the pros outweigh the cons? Do the cons outweigh the pro? In my personal opinion, I feel like the pros kind of do outweigh the cons, and I don't mind the 2-night format. Some stuff holding it back a little bit, but otherwise, I think the 2-night format it does work for the most part. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Peace.